Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Around the Ballpark podcast, episode number 94. And it is Thursday evening, July the 3rd. We actually were not scheduled for tonight. We actually had plans to go see a minor league baseball game with the St. Lucie Mets. But Mother Nature had its say of things, and unfortunately that game was, well, it's not rained out officially, but it's 2 hours into the rain delay, and first pitch hasn't happened. So safe to say we made the right decision. But as you can tell tonight, Darren is on assignment once again. He'll be back with us on Sunday night. So my other half, my wife, Eileen, is here with us. Eileen, how are you doing on the other side of the house?
I'm doing better than I was moments ago. But yeah, I'm here.
Okay. Well, that's good. And so those of you guys watching tonight, as you know, Darren's usually the guy that will read through the sponsor read. So he is not here. So tonight I'm going to take care of that. So as always, the first thing we always do is say thank you to Nashville Tax Solutions for being the proud sponsor of our podcast from day one. Whether you need to file years of missing returns, a current year return, or you need relief from a tax lien or levy, Nashville Tax Solutions has the solution for you. Their team of tax professionals are dedicated to providing personalized solutions tailored to your unique situation. Don't let those tax problems weigh you down. Contact Nashville Tax Solutions today and let them guide you towards a brighter financial future. You can call them 855-627-4829. You can check out the little ticker at the bottom of the screen. That's pretty cool. You can check out their website, NashvilleTaxSolutions.com. You can email them, info@NashvilleTaxSolutions.com, where tax resolution is achieved. And so I know Chris is having a nice holiday. Checked in with him earlier in the week. And so shout out to the family and to the team there in both Port St. Lucie and, in Fort Pierce and Palm Bay. So thank you so much for all that you do. And I see a few of you already in here with hitting that like button. Brian, nice to see you. Another Redmond is in here with us. Our mother, Marianne, is in the building as well. And so thank you guys for being here tonight. And, you know, of course, you saw in the header of this video, we're going to go ahead and talk about our recent mini vacation to Tampa. We went this past Sunday afternoon, and we got back late, I would say not late, but Tuesday evening. This week's kind of fun.
I know. I just I'm like, what day is it actually?
Yeah, it's already Thursday.
I know.
Which is crazy.
That's what happens when you're on vacation.
Yeah. So it's nice, of course, you know, everyone prefers the week-long vacations and all that kind of stuff. But sometimes those 2 or 3 day trips are kind of nice too. Some people like the staycation. Tampa is a bit of a drive, though. Even if you take the shortcut way, it's still a lot of driving. And you know, that's why I'm so grateful when we do Orlando trips or when we do cruises and the port's like 30 minutes away. So going to Tampa is nice. It's a really nice area, but it's a lot of vehicle time. So that's why you want to make your trip at least 2 days to make it worth it. Because we've been there where we've driven in the morning, got there, sat for 3 hours, drove right back home, and that's not enjoyable at all for anybody.
And when we had done that, so just as a fun fact, I broke my tailbone probably like 12 years ago. And so I was in the backyard in my old apartments and I was playing soccer with Aiden, and it was like one of those moments, like remember Charlie Brown, where Charlie Brown would go to kick the ball, and every single time Lucy would shoink it right out from under him, and he'd fly in the air and land on his butt. That's exactly what happened. Only Aiden was Lucy. I don't know what that noise is. Can you hear that?
No, I can't.
Okay, so it's just me then. Sorry. He kicked it at the same time, and I went boom, and I landed right on one of those big pine tree roots that come out of the ground. And so the day that we did that, I was sitting the entire time that we went to the game, driving there to 3 hours, and then sitting in those hard plastic seats for 3 hours, and then sitting all the way back home. I was like, we can't do this again. So now we always kind of make a weekend of it, at least. And it's more enjoyable that way too, because it's like you get over there and then you see all this cool stuff and you're like, oh, I want to look at that. Oh, I want to investigate that. Like, I want to explore. And you can, when you make a little 2-day, 3-day mini trip out of it, it becomes something that, like, we always do something we didn't last time. So that's kind of cool.
Yeah, always finding something. It's nice to hit the spots that you like, like you had your go-to spot, whatever, but always introducing some new places along the way. So what we thought we would do is kind of take you on our journey of what it was like on Monday. So Sunday was more of a just get there, get to the hotel, rest up, not do too much, go down, get something to eat from the food area, and then come back up. So Sunday night was kind of just a relax. But then Monday came and the weather was not so good. We had all these intentions to go to the beach and do this and do that. Mother Nature again said, nope, not going to happen. So fortunately, we were able to find for very affordable $16 to check out Raymond James Stadium, a stadium tour that we were able to book for the same day.
It was amazing.
Highly recommend that experience. Yes, it was amazing. And the crowd was, I think our tour, they had 3 separate tours back to back to back, but I think they kept our tour pretty size, about to 25 people or so. So yeah, we'll kind of walk you through that experience. So Eileen, do you remember the very first, I thought it was interesting, the very first thing that they let us see when we get into the stadium tour, and if you wouldn't mind sharing about that, because I thought that was, I didn't even think about that, and then it makes sense that those kind of things exist, but yeah.
Yeah. So it was like, I can't remember if they called it the red ticket or not, but basically I believe it was red ticket, and it's like a specially priced ticket. And if you get this ticket, then you get VIP access to this beautiful, they just renovated it, state of the art. Like, it's like a vendor area, but it's indoors and it's air conditioned. It wasn't that day, but on game day, she said it's air conditioned. And I'm talking like really nice vendor stuff. They had sushi in this vendor area, and they had a very mini team store. And then you went up some stairs, and you have, like, again, this is a very highly specialized ticketed price. But you get private access into that gate only. And then once you get in there and get all your goodies, and they had these huge LED banners all the way around. And I'm talking like this section where the vendors area was bigger than my house. LED banners that went all the way around, where it was constant game. Like, if you decided you needed to leave your seat and go to one of those vendors, you weren't missing any part of the game because it was right there on this huge LED banner. Not only that, but there was another huge, probably like the size of my house, screen where you were getting the game live. So now, fast forward, you decide you get that vendor, your sushi, whatever it is that you want, and you can go to your seat. Or you can pay for your box office seat. So we got to go into one of the box office sections. I think they said it was $350,000 for the year to own this box. And if you committed to it, it was a 3-year commitment. So I don't remember what the math was. Mike did the math. What was it?
$1 million.
$1 million to own this box. And you could bring anybody from your company, anybody that you wanted to. You own the box. It's yours. And you could probably fit, like, I think she said like 35 to 40 people in there. You get a wait staff.
32, I think. Yeah.
32 people. Yeah, you get a wait staff. You don't even have to leave your seat. You can just raise your hand and they'll come and say, yes, Miss Redmond, what would you like today? And you're like, oh, I'll have a filet mignon. And they'll bring it to you. It was amazing. And so getting to sit in those seats, even if it was only for 10 minutes, that was like amazing, because I know I'm never going to get to sit in those seats ever again. Unless I become, a lotto winner or something like that. But that was a really cool experience to be in like an owner's box and see, like, it was like, okay, this is what that really, really expensive life is like. I can't even imagine $1 million for sitting in a football game stadium for 3 years. And what is it, like 8 games a year?
Yep. So they have 8 home games a year and then 2 preseason home games a year. Sometimes only 1, depends, because they lowered the preseason games to 3 instead of 4. So be careful for that when you sign the contract. But yeah, it says, I think it's 10 games. Now this one, here's the weird thing about all that, was that the one for $1 million is 32 seats, no food included. So what if you want the food actually for the suite? Now, what I was talking about earlier, that you have to pay for food and things like that downstairs. But in this suite, food was not included in the $1 million suite. And you would have to pay and add that on. But I guess if you're paying $1 million for a seat, you're okay with another $200,000 bill for food, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
And it's only for those 10 games. Or you could, that's a privacy booth, right? Or you can go literally next door to it for $12,000. And for this one, you get all 10 home games, any concert or event that they have the entire year, and your food is included, everything from caviar to desserts to pizza to hot dogs, anything you can possibly imagine, like she was saying, for $12,000. Still crazy price range.
Who thinks caviar at a football game, though? Like, you want wings and ribs. You don't want caviar. Like, but I guess some people do. So
I guess, yeah. So, I guess, is it worth it to pay $1 million for privacy, or to go have the same exact experience 50 feet to your left or your right for $12,000? I mean, who knows? But now, one thing we failed to mention is, as cool as the suites were, as cool as the downtown red ticket area was with all the cool LED screens and all that stuff, some people get a little carried away when they go to these things and they have not 1 drink, not 2 drinks, but maybe 8, 9 drinks. They get out of hand. They get themselves into trouble. Oh. Some get escorted out of the facility, and some cross the line even more, and they're having to be put in Tampa Bay Buccaneers jail. And so that was the very first part of the tour, actually, is we got to see
I'm so sorry, I skipped it.
That's okay. We got to see 4 different jail cells, basically, with a little window, peak window in there. And they even had a resident.
What their main resident was a skeleton, and he had a Saints jersey on. And I was like, oh! So I got to sit in there, and Mike took a picture, and it was really cool. Do you have that picture?
I do not, but you can check, because I have the video. So you can check out if you're watching this. When you're done watching this video, go ahead, and I'll link it to the comments. But go ahead and check out under the shorts on our YouTube channel for Around the Ballpark. You can actually check out the video and see that photo in there.
And I'm wearing blue in the video because we were going to the Tampa Bay Rays game later, and that is a blue and white deal.
Yes.
Their team colors are blue and white. If I had known, when we went to Tampa Bay Raymond James Stadium tour, it was kind of like a whim, last minute, like, oh, hey, it's downpouring. What are we going to do now? Because our plans got ruined. So if I had known, I would have been wearing my Bucks gear, but that's okay. Maybe next time.
Yes. Yeah. It was a spur of the moment decision. So then, of course, we get to do all that and stuff, and we get to go down to where they sell merchandise and things like that on the game day. But then, like we said, we walked upstairs, we got to see the suite and everything like that. And then we got an opportunity to see the pirate ship as well. So they actually got to take some pictures outside of it. We actually got to go on the pirate ship and take pictures, various spots on there, oversee the field, all that kind of stuff. And they do allow people on this ship during the game for photo ops and stuff like that. People were asking, can you just stay on the ship the whole game? No, you can't do that, but you are able to, if you pay top dollar, you're able to have that experience.
Did you know, though, one thing that the viewers may not know is that there are professional pirates that are hired to be on the ship during game day, but they're also in charge of the cannon effect. They're not actually blowing a cannon because then, that would really hurt people. But they do a cannon effect every time that they're in the end zone and all that kind of stuff. So they make a whole big thing out of it. They wreck the stadium. They make a whole big scene, and rah, 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 yo ho, and they break up onto the ship and everything. They take someone hostage, and so it's really cool. I've always wanted to go in the pirate ship, always. And so, even I went to a game one time when I was much younger, and I was sitting down by the end zone, but on the same side as the pirate ship. And I was like, I want to go in there so bad. But so that was probably on my bucket list to go in the pirate ship. I never thought you could do it. I thought only the owners, the millionaires, could go in the pirate ship
and do that. No, I didn't think so. And then when I realized that was going to be part of the $16 experience, I was like, wow, that's awesome. We'll never probably in our life be on this ship again unless we pay for the tour again. So super cool. And then we got to go run on the field. We got to walk on the field, run on the field. Now, the field did not look pristine. We were found out during an earlier part of the tour that it cost $500,000 each time they make the field look as pristine as it does. And then they actually do that after every 5 games, I think it is. They redo it again. So it's $1 million expense just to line the fields and keep up with the grass. They do have staff daily that takes care of the field, even on their off weeks, stuff like that. But yeah, go ahead and share that experience because that was super awesome. I think we got about 10 minutes or so on the field.
Okay, so we get down, and the lady who was giving us the tour was phenomenal, by the way. She knew a lot of facts, and you could tell she wasn't stuttering. This was what she was born to do. She loved everything Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and it was awesome. So we get out of the field, and she's like, feel free to run as far and fast as you can. And so all the rest of the adults, they're just kind of wandering out there. Everybody's kind of looking around at each other to be like, who's the first person they're going to go? I look at Mike with a wild smile on my face, and I go, see you at the 50-yard line. And he was like, I don't think he thought it was serious at first. And I did. I ran out there to the 50-yard line. I had to take, because there was the big Buccaneer logo on the 50-yard line. Granted, if you watch the video, you'll see it's the oldest, it's an ugly one. But they put when it's not when it's off season, they put these hard floors for concerts on top of it. So it's not the best looking, but whatever. It was still the Bucs logo, and I was still on the 50-yard line in Raymond James Stadium. So I was so stoked. And so I was on that, and then I decided, I was like, you know what? I'm going to run to the other end zone. I didn't get there. I got to the other end zone, but I wasn't running anymore because I was like, oh my dear Lord, my lungs are going to explode. So got to the other end zone, and I was like, Mike, count me off. This is a hike. Come on, this is a real situation. And he just started just appeasing me. He was like, all right, Blue, 42, set hike. I took off again, and I probably looked I was just a kid. I was just a kid that day. It was fun. It was so much fun. I will never get to run around unless we do the tour again, which again, I would do it again. I would take Aiden, because when he was a little kid, he used to call it butt ball because he couldn't say football all the way. He used to love butt ball.
And I think maybe they'll up the charge to $20 and turn the air conditioner on. That would be the only.
That would be worth it. Yeah.
It would. Soup Bead says, sounds like so much fun, for sure. So,
yes, it was so much fun.
Yeah. Also, so okay, so we get the 10 minutes on the field. Now they kept us to one side of the stadium, like we were on the side where the visitors would see. So everything that we pretty much saw was pretty much identical on the other side of the field. Then they actually took us to the locker room area. So the locker room was very outdated, and they actually showed that the USF still is contracted there for 2 more seasons, and then they'll be leaving. So it wasn't all that exciting to see the locker room, especially because nothing was in there outside of the USF banner. Of course, when game days come and stuff, it'll be a little bit more exciting, but still kind of cool to be in the spot that each of the visiting teams come in and are at every Sunday. And it would have been nice to see the Tampa Bay side. We didn't, because they had a brand new facility there. We didn't get to see that.
Yeah, they don't let us common folk in there.
Not so much. And then, of course, just like if you go to a theme park, all rides end at the gift shop, right? So then they took us to the gift shop at the end, and like, oh, go ahead and buy something while you're here. So you kind of peruse around that. But there was a lot of information they shared too. Like, even though we saw about 6 or 7 different areas, they gave us a lot of information in a short amount of time. They shared that people have weddings there, and they have proms there, and they have, obviously for a cost and stuff like that, but they try to use that facility. It's a county-owned facility, so it's not actually owned by the Bucks themselves. So it's a venue that gets rented out throughout the year because, as we said, there's only 10 events or 10 games a year. So
one fun fact is that the pirate ship actually costs like $3 million, I think is what she told us.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
There's no other stadium that has anything like it. And that, I think the stadium, she said, was built in 1997. So, while it is a little outdated,
I could be wrong.
Yeah, but you can tell where certain spots are a little outdated, of course, but still looks in really good shape for being a stadium that's about 20, just shy of 20.
And then one thing is also we didn't get to tour it because it's across the street, but we could see the practice area. What did they call that again?
Oh, it was just their practice facility.
The training facility, something like that. Yeah. And it was cool because I think she said it was part of the 2017, 2018 upgrades. They put in a climate controlled field so they could actually start playing because we all know there's always 1 or 2 games where it's at Lambeau Field and it's under like 3 inches of snow. And Tampa Bay can't compete in that because we have 115 degree weather from while they're playing with all those pads and spandex on and everything, and there's no wind inside the stadium, no breeze or anything. It's like just a big old bowl of humidity soup. So the fact that they get to go to that training facility and, like, let's say, hey, we're going to have a game against the Chicago Bears, let's go train in our facility, jack down the AC to like 10 degrees and get a sense of what that's going to do to your lungs, what it's going to do to your breathing capacity while you're running and doing all this stuff, because that does matter. A lot of people, and especially like in baseball, they hate to go to Colorado because of the altitude change and the way the air changes. So I thought that was a really cool way to help I wanted to say the Rays, I'm sorry, to help the Buccaneers get a little bit more of a cutting edge so that they could compete a little bit better. So maybe that is a big reason as to why we have seen them improve for the last 2 years, two seasons. They've been improving a little bit. Now, we all know the Brady years. Personally, I don't think they count. That's just me. I was never a Brady fan. And then COVID happened, and then we got Brady, and then I was like, that's it. And then, like, nobody was standing for the flag, and I was like, that's it. No more NFL. I'm done. And so now I'm like back watching most games. And but I've been seeing them improve steadily. And that might be one of the really big reasons why. And I never knew behind scenes. I thought about that. I was like, oh my gosh, that's so true. When we go, when I say when the Bucks go to like Lambeau or Chicago or up to New England, they can't play.
Yeah, no, they can't. No, that's Yeah. And I mean, yeah, they're playing in constantly 95 degrees, 98 degrees, and then there's sometimes 22 degrees snow, so you can practice all you want down here, but it's hard to duplicate, that exact experience for sure. So,
Yeah.
so we had such a good time. And Henry, thanks for joining us as well. I appreciate you being here.
Hi, Henry.
We're talking about our experience at Raymond James Stadium, and so that was a lot of fun. So we finished, I think, the tour around 3:30, and the Rays game that we were going to didn't start till 7:30. So we were like, okay, let's find something to do. The beaches were a little bit far away, so we decided let's go ahead and get some lunch. And we decided on a nice little place called the Salt Shack. And
it was great.
It was great, and
it was riverfront.
I'm so glad that we were able to go to find a place like that, because we were like, we know what kind of like vibe we wanted. We know what kind of like, scenery, but we don't really know the area too well. So I do have a couple photos I will go ahead and throw here on the live and show you guys just a little bit. So we'll get some cool ambiance going here for those of you listening. Let me get that together for you. So let's rock out a little bit and go ahead and let me show you guys some of those photos. There you go. So beautiful. We actually got there a little bit before evening time, but beautiful scenery there. Obviously, a lot of cool stuff there. That's kind of a distant shot of what it looks like from afar. And this I really like too. Like this, how would you describe that vibe on that?
It was like a kumbaya vibe.
Yeah,
that's the best way I can just. It was like a patio, but like an open air patio, and it had these deck chairs all in a circle, and it was just like a super chill kumbaya moment. And
you can sit, by the bar area. You could sit here by the water if you wanted to. They had another patio seating where we were. Some nice little spot there. Again, another nice view there. Got the menu right between us right there. It's kind of hard to see that, but they had so many good choices on there. Let's get some deck spots right there. How beautiful is that shot?
Yeah, I know, right?
That one's cool. Little sneak peek of some of their menu items there. Another outside shot there. And then this is the dish that I got. It was actually the seafood pasta. The only thing missing was the garlic bread. So
this is so weird.
But Eileen, how I felt after I had this pasta?
No.
That was me. I was happy. I was content.
Is that like Paddington?
Yeah, look how happy he is. Yeah.
You're so weird.
So Paddington is our little special guest on the show. Every time we're happy, we always get Paddington.
Oh, I didn't know that. It's like an inside joke with you and Darren?
Yeah. So we always make sure that we get him on the podcast. But yeah, so definitely, guys, check that spot out. It's called the Salt Shack. It is in Tampa, not very far at all from Raymond James Stadium. I think it was like 12-minute drive to 15-minute drive.
Yeah. It's in the Westshore area of Tampa, which we spent almost a long time looking at reviews of what type of hotel we really wanted to stay in. Not that I'm a snob, but we've gotten burnt pretty bad a couple times going to Tampa and being like, oh, we'll just book a hotel. It's just a place to sleep. We're just going to the game. We're not going to. And like we had some horrific nightmare hotels. So I wanted to make sure we got something that, obviously we're not made of money. So we're not going to stay at like the Hilton Grand Riverfront. But I wanted to stay somewhere decent. So we got a pretty good 3-star hotel. But it was in Westshore area of Tampa. And that's where we found that restaurant too.
Yes. So had a great time. And then, of course, we made our way to George Steinbrenner Field, as you know, not going to the normal stadium because it's not there right now. They are renovating everything and working on getting a new roof on. So, of course, instead we had to go to George Steinbrenner Field, complete sellout. I think it was 10,800 people.
Oh
something
yeah.
like that.
And I mean, this place was packed. We were like sardines in there. Like it was like I normally Michael and I will kind of walk around the stadium and see what there is, like all the sites and everything, the different amenities, the different stadium food that we can get. It just wasn't happening on that day. There was no, I mean, it was like literally elbow to elbow, which is good, which I mean, I feel like the Rays deserve support like that because they're a really good team. They are a really good team, and they always somehow are just about to die and then they come back. And it's like always, this amazing underdog story of that team. And so I really feel like they deserve that support. And I think this is just me. And I know that maybe some people are going to have some feedback about this. But that's okay. We welcome feedback. I think the Tampa Bay Rays are better off in Tampa because more people can get to the games. This game was completely packed to the brim. And it was such a wild experience to hear people cheering and chanting. I mean, because usually there's like some cheering and chanting at Tropicana Field, but you can't even hear it because it's just like so, it just sounds echoey almost. And here at this stadium at Steinbrenner Field, it was like, oh my gosh, I'm excited. We're in baseball again. It almost felt like a Fenway vibe.
Yeah,
right.
Like you did, but like you were close up. Like it had like the spring training vibe because you were close up, but with a lot more people that would go to a spring training game.
It was an awesome game.
Yeah, for sure. So it was.
It was a great DJ Kitty.
Yes, DJ Kitty is awesome. You've never got
he's one of her favorite mascots.
Yeah, DJ Kitty, he's amazing. He's one of the 3 mascots that they have there at the stadium. And
they have DJ Kitty, they have Raymond, and I'm not sure what Raymond is. He's just a weird stuffed thing. And then they have Stinger, which makes more sense because he's a Ray, Stingray. And so, but then when they had the mascot, there he is. Look at his happy face. And see, there's Raymond. What is that? I don't even know.
I don't know.
And DJ Kitty, my man. And Paddington. Okay.
So we made our way to the stadium and kind of looking around at everything like that. And we get to our seat. And we have great seats. I think we're like maybe 14 rows up from home plate. So we were like dead center behind home plate. So we had,
and they were only like $30.
Yeah, very, very affordable. Perfect view of everything. Now the first inning started off miserably. Drew Rasmussen, who is on point this season, their second best pitcher, he gave up 4 runs before you can even exhale, and it was 4-0 Athletics right away, right off the bat. And then that was it for scoring for a while. And then the 4th inning, I think, happened, and the Rays unloaded. I think they scored 3 runs without anybody out, and unfortunately double play end of the inning. But they tied the game in the 4th inning, making it 4-4. And then there was no scoring again until we get into the top of the 9th inning. Now, before we get there, I was so impressed. We're talking about food, and I mean, you could vouch for this too. So they had this chicken tender basket, which we didn't have, but it was $22. And this helmet was the size of a helmet that a normal person would wear. It was massive. And in this helmet, they had about 8 tenders, full-size tenders, and at least, like, have you ever been to the Five Guys? You know how like you get the large bag of fries? It's like full of fries. Like this helmet was loaded with fries. So for $22, the value these 3 people got, and they all look like these 3 teenagers in front of us looked like they were a fraternity group or something. But this one kid that was an Athletics fan had to have been like 91 pounds soaking wet. And he had this thing, and he's eating this thing. He was powering
down.
Yes, and he kept eating and eating. But by the time the 9th inning rolled around, he looked
still wasn't done.
And there was still like 5 tenders in there. Like he know.
He was trying so hard.
There was so much in that thing. So anyway, so fast forward, we make it to the 9th inning, and then they actually had a player on the Athletics who made a debut for them, his very first appearance, and he's playing left field, and the Rays are trying to take the lead, and they hit the ball to left field. They send the runner home, and this guy throws his arm out, basically, does like a somersault.
He rocketed that ball.
Perfect rocket to home plate, and the runner it took a perfect throw to get him. That's what happened. Tagged him out. Rays don't score, and unfortunately, Eileen's favorite player comes in the 9th inning and gives up 2 runs.
He's not my favorite player. No. He's not.
I know.
We know that Jose Caballero is my
your favorite pitcher, your favorite relief pitcher.
Yeah, but there's, I have to say this year he's not the Fairbanks that we had last year. He's really not. We're talking about Pete Fairbanks, and he was a closer last year, and he has the goofiest, craziest eyes, and he when he loads up, when he's like, is that what they call it? Load up, like winds up or whatever. He does this thing where it's like he'll get, it's almost like his glove is whispering to him. And then he locks in. And so it's like, I always giggle because it looks like he's like the glove is whispering the secrets of the universe to him. And he's going to give him the most cutting edge knowledge about the batter or something like that. Cause he looks like he just got this, I don't know, his face. He's always been a really, really good closer. And this year he's just not doing that great. And I get it, it's probably way better than I could ever do. I don't even think I could throw the ball that far, to be honest with you. But I want to say that this year, the pitcher that's standing out the most to me is Shane Baz. Yep, there he is, getting secret.
There he is. Yeah, he's coming for you. Yes.
Yeah. So that's Fairbanks. But honestly, the pitcher that's getting my attention most this year is Shane Baz. And I don't watch all the games because, I got to work a lot and all the other things that are going on with the kids and everything. But when I do catch a game and he's pitching, he seems to be very consistent this year. Fairbanks just isn't really consistent this year. And again, it's only, it's still a long way to go. So maybe he'll get it together and shape it back up and he'll do much better. But I think the play of the game for me was, of course, Jose was up at bat, and he was up at bat, and something happened, and it almost looked as if the pitcher had dropped the ball. The runner on second decides to steal, but the pitcher realized what was going on and lobbed it over to the guy on 2. So it was like this pickle. So he's like, oh no, do I go this way? Oh no, do I go that way? So he's running back and forth. He finally ran and slid to third, and he was safe. And I thought that was the coolest thing. And was it Jose that did anything? No, but he was a bat. So he gets my attention.
Right. Yeah, no, well said. And unfortunately, the Athletics won the game 6-4. Now I was
happy though, because it was a good game,
Yeah, but you were a little upset that they didn't win.
I was. I'm always upset.
So I do have, unfortunately, I didn't get to put a lot of our photos that we took. You took most of them. You're a better photo taker than me. But I did get a photo of you the moment that the game ended, and you were very upset that the Rays lost that game. So I have that photo here.
No, that was not me.
It looks. Are you sure? Okay. Well, so yes, we have a happy Paddington and we have a sad or angry Paddington. But so, of course, you travel across the state. You want your team to win. Fortunately, didn't, but still had a great time. Some stuff happened after the game that wish we didn't happen and stuff like that. We don't get on.
Yeah, some loser stole my purse.
Yeah.
Whoever you are, I hope that you're watching this podcast right now, and I hope that you realize how much of a loser you are. Person stealing purses, jerk.
Yes. it was like 3 minutes and it was inside of a Rays merchandise bag. It wasn't just sitting out there. So,
and it was only 3 minutes, and I was like, oh wait, my purse. And Mike ran back to get it, and it was gone. Like somebody had to been sitting there staking it out, waiting for me to turn my back for a half a second.
Yeah.
So, loser.
Yeah.
But I mean, still at the end of the day, did the day go the way we had planned it out to go? No, because we had planned to have this epic beach day over in St. Petersburg. The beaches over there, they have the beautiful white sand, very calm waters, much easier to go swimming in than it is over here. Sometimes the Atlantic Ocean gets a little bit churned up and just knocks me out. And then, I'm flailing around like a dingbat, and Mike's laughing at me, and I'm laughing and he's laughing. Neither one of us can help each other. So I really like to go to the Gulf side and go to the beaches over there because they are so much more gentle and accessible for those who do have some mobility issues. The other thing, speaking of mobility issues, if you ever do go to Steinbrenner Field, there is an ADA drop-off center, which ADA stands for Americans with Disabilities Act. So there is an ADA drop-off center where you may not have the premium access ticket to get into the premium parking spot. But if you show them, hey, I'm handicapped, or I think the word is disabled now. I'm sorry if I said the wrong word. I'm not trying to offend anybody. But hey, I'm disabled. They'll let you pull in, drop off at this ADA site, and then the other person can go back and park their car. So when we first parked, we went over this bridge that I absolutely hated very much. It scared the life out of me. I don't like heights. And I have, my balance issues and whatnot like that. So if you are going to that field, which I highly recommend because we had so much fun, except for the loser who stole my purse, then definitely invest in either getting the premium parking ticket, or if you don't mind walking across the bridge, but maybe you want to make sure you drop off your wife at the ADA access drop-off zone and then come back and get her later. Because Mike came back and got me the second time around after we realized I'm never going over the death bridge ever again.
Right. Yes. His day. Yes. Wow. Not good. His day will come, or her day, whoever's day. It will be a day will come for sure. We're still holding out hope we get a call, but by this point, at least, with the cards and stuff can be replaced.
Yeah, we canceled all the cards and
but I wish that one thing we've done in the past, we've done like a 2-game thing. I would love to one day be able to do a whole 3-game series. The problem is though, the parking was $32 to go to a Rays game here. Now I understand they got to make some of this money back. They don't have the, but that right there is a killer in terms of like, if you want to go to 3 games, that's $96 just for parking. So unless and there's really no hotel on that strip there. So you have to be willing to pay those prices or walk a mile, 2 miles to get there. So that was a big downer I didn't like. Was the parking cost was a bit much at Raymond James or at Rays Stadium. I think they still have it under $20. So it was, who knows what it'll be now, of course.
And I was thinking about it. Steinbrenner, the owners of Steinbrenner Field, they've got to be raking in the cash because when the Rays aren't playing, the Tampa Tarpons are playing. And so they're getting parking fees for the Rays and for the Tampa Tarpons. And then isn't there one other team that is playing there every once in a while?
No, it's just so it's either the Rays, and then the days that the Rays are not there, the Tampa Tarpons play. Yeah. So what's weird is because of the Florida heat, the Rays have played most of their home games there, so they're going to have a ton of road games coming up. Meanwhile, the Tarpons have played a ton of road games, and they're going to have a lot of home games coming up. That is the single A lower level team. So those that don't understand how the minor league system works, if you want to make the major league roster, you play college ball. Then if you're lucky enough to get drafted, you play rookie league ball. And then if you are good enough at rookie league ball, you make what's called single A. But in single A, they have the lower level single A. So then you move up to lower level single A. If you're good enough, you go to mid-level single A. And then if you're that good, you can go to upper level single A to hopefully be promoted to double A, to be promoted to triple A, and then eventually on the major league roster. So there's several steps to be able to, it's not like basketball where it's like, oh, you're good in college and then you get signed to the team. No, baseball, you've got to earn your stripes. Some people are career minor leaguers. They never get there. So you really got to work your butt off to all the different levels. And the pay, we're talking like $15,000 to $18,000 a year still in 2025 for people at the single A level versus the Major League Baseball league minimum, which is $350,000. So you are playing for that contract, of course. Yes, you want to be a team player, but it's not about wins and losses in the minor leagues. It's about honing your craft to get the big call-ups so you can go from making $18,000 a year to $350,000 and up. Or if you're Juan Soto, like $1 bajillion a year.
I know, right?
That's
you know what would be crazy? I wonder if, like, some of the guys for the Tarpons, if they're playing just a little bit better, if they're putting on that edge just a little bit more, because they're probably thinking there's an MLB scout here, because the Rays are there. So that would be pretty smart of the Tarpons. And again, I could just be silly and, having make-believe scenarios in my head. But that'd be really cool. I'd be like, okay, I'm going to play a little extra harder. I mean, when it comes to sports, I always play my best, and most athletics people always play their best. It's what they do. It's why they play sports, is because they like to be, they like to do their best and put all their energy into their craft. But I would be constantly thinking in the back of my head, oh, is that a scout? Oh, is that a scout? Oh, is that a scout? Like,
Yep. Breaking news, ladies and gentlemen. So Major League Baseball started in the end of May this year, I believe. Or was it early April? Let me see. Major League Baseball opening day. Let's see when that was. It might have been in April, actually. March 27th. Okay. So March 27th was opening day. We are now July the 3rd. And congratulations to the Colorado Rockies, who have now officially won their 20th game of the season. It took them 95 days to win 20 games. So I think they're sitting there at like 20-70 or something like that right now. Abysmal. But they got there. So they got their 20th win. So poor Colorado Rockies. Tampa Bay Rays, we've been talking about, they're off tonight. They're traveling to Minnesota. So they are not
Minnesota.
So they are not playing tonight. But the New York Mets are. They're in the worst spot they've been in a long time. They've lost 15 of 18 games. They were the best team in baseball 18 days ago, and now they've fallen off the planet. And so now they're playing Milwaukee. So it's 1-1 in the bottom of the fifth inning. This is a must-win for the Mets because after this, they go to the next series. So you want to win the series and try to get back in the good graces and everything like that. So they must win. I don't know where their offense. They're scoring less than 3 runs a game consistently now. So it's getting bad. So hopefully they can get out of this funk. But it's pretty awful right now as a Mets fan to see what we had. And now with a few pitching injuries, yes, but they're falling apart completely. So that's a big shame. But yeah, that pretty much wraps up our trip. We got to stay at the Holiday Inn Westshore in Tampa. So at least on Tuesday we had immaculate weather.
Holiday Inn. Sorry.
We got to experience the hotel because the weather was great. We still didn't want to go to the beach.
They had a beautiful hot tub.
Yeah, because it was a 40-minute drive to the beach on the other side of the coast. So we wanted to eliminate the drive, we wanted to limit the drive home we already had. So we decided to stay at the hotel, and we made the most of it. I think we stayed till about 2. Got hot tub time, pool, back and forth, because the pool was kind of cold. So you think we're crazy going to hot tub 90 degrees, but when you're in that cold pool for a while, it's fun to go back and forth in the hot tub and do all those things. So overall,
I don't think it's no secret that our age, our bones are a little achy and our muscles are a little achy, and we had no kids with us, and it was just nice to relax in the hot tub.
It was. Yes, it really was. And so what is your biggest takeaway as we wrap things up here? Your biggest takeaway of the weekend?
I that day, like when I reflect on it, just the running on the stadium on the 50-yard line of the Raymond James Stadium was amazing. Like I didn't think that would ever. I didn't even know stadium tours were a thing, and I thought if they were, then it's probably way out of my budget. So that was a really fun experience that just totally took me by surprise to get to do that and to get in the pirate ship. That was just so much fun. And then I really loved the atmosphere at the race game. It was so much fun. It was a little hectic getting to our seats, and there was a time that Mike tried to go to the restroom, and he was like, he came back, and I'm like, oh, what happened? And he was like, I don't think if I would have been able to go, it would have been gone for 2 more innings because the lines to get anywhere were so long because the stadium was packed to the brim. But in the seats, it was so cool. People were like, chanting, Jose, 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 Jose. And, just like, let's go, Rays. Let's go, Rays. And so it's always fun to me to be able to get to go and like yell out in the stadium and be a little crazy because everybody else is yelling and being a little crazy too. And so that's, to me, getting those two things in one day, it's phenomenal. I was a little cranky because I didn't feel that great. I was recovering from upper respiratory goodness, but I was like, I just kept proclaiming, I'm healed. I'm healed. I'm going to the game. I'm healed. So,
Yeah,
the
no,
wasn't making me too happy.
yeah, no, it was fun. Yes, we missed the big stadium feel, but have everyone packed in like sardines. You could hear everyone chanting, having a great time, really into it. And there were a lot of slow innings. So when that one inning, it seemed like they couldn't get a single Ray out. I do have some breaking news, Tampa Bay Rays news actually that just happened. So Curtis Mead was sent down today to AAA. So Curtis Mead actually played second base the day that we went. He's the backup for Brandon Lau at second base. So he has been sent down. And the reason for that is because the highest paid player on the Tampa Bay Rays, who has not played a single inning this season, Hee-Sung Kim, who's coming over from San Diego. This is the guy who gets over 30 stolen bases a year, gets about 80 to 90 RBIs. He's been injured, and he is ready to come back tomorrow. And so it'll be interesting because what I'm trying to find out, because we all know that second base is Brandon Lau. So will Kim be splitting time with Brandon Lau? Are they really going to take Brandon Lau out of the lineup? I don't think so. Does that mean they're going to cut into Taylor Walls playing time at shortstop? I don't know if he can play shortstop or not. Or maybe he'll be DHing and so I don't know. Someone's going to lose some playing time because they're paying a lot of money for Kim to be with this roster. So we'll have to wait and see tomorrow night. I'm sure he'll play tomorrow, but the Rays, one problem I have with the Rays is especially Brandon Lau. I know he can get a night off once a week or something, but they tend to sit him a lot lately, and he needs to be in the lineup 6 out of every 7 games.
I speculate that is because he's a little bit injury prone. I've noticed throughout the years. So maybe they're taking it easy on him so that, because he is a great hitter. I know that Caminero kind of leads the team in home runs this year, but Brandon Lau is right behind him, and he's a really, really good hitter. So if he's injury prone, maybe they can split, time between him and I'm sorry, what was his name again?
It's Hee-Sung Kim.
Hee-Sung Kim.
So, Hee-Sung.
That guy. So they'll split time because Brandon Lau is a little bit injury prone. So, and the other thing is like maybe having some fresh stamina in there too. If he's been has he been rehabbing in the minors?
Yeah, so he's been rehabbing and stuff like that. So what do you call it? So he's it's not like he's done nothing. Like he's basically ready to play, ready to go. Probably going to take him some at bats and stuff like that. I did find out though. So it does look like he is going to be their everyday shortstop. So it looks like the person that's going to lose out on some playing time is Tyler Walls. which offensively he doesn't do a whole lot, but he is a great defensive player. So
he's a great defensive
hopefully,
player, but yeah.
So we'll have to see. Now they didn't send down Tyler Walls; they sent down Curtis Mead, which is interesting because if Kim plays shortstop and Curtis Mead's playing second, so this may be an increase of time for Brandon Lau, or we might see Taylor Walls in there instead of Brandon Lau every once in a while. So interesting, but they did not move Walls down; they moved Curtis Mead down. So that's saying something that they probably have some plans for Tyler Walls. They maybe put him in there as a defensive replacement. He's got great speed, as does Chandler Simpson. So I said that before. I want to see Simpson batting 1, not 9. I like this to get him on base more. We shall see. But this was
that would be a big help. I think though that out of every Rays game that I've been to, that was my favorite. To be honest, I really liked that stadium a lot more, and it just goes to show. And the reason is because it always feels empty and echoey at Tropicana Field, even when it's packed. I've been to games that are like there's a lot of people there, but they have the whole upper section sealed off because they can't sell them, because you feel like you're going to die when you're up there. I remember I was up there one time with you, and I was terrified the whole time. But it just sounded so echoey in there, and I just really, really liked the stadium, Steinbrenner Field, and if it was 3 levels higher, I think it'd be a perfect ball field to play in outdoors. And I think they're doing really fine. Everyone's like, oh, they're gonna do so bad because they're not used to playing outdoors. Well, hello. 50% of their games are on the road at other stadiums outdoors. So they're going to do fine. So I think that was a perfect testament to, they are doing great outdoors, and they are doing great in a stadium other than Tropicana. And so I really, really hope that the owners can see how much support they're getting in an outdoor field, because that was the other thing. Oh, people don't want to sit in the sweltering heat. Not exactly, but for an hour and a half to see my favorite players and get to scream at the top of my lungs about Jose Caballero and let's go Rays, and all the other fun things that you chant at baseball games, charge, and the 7 song and stuff like that. That's just so much more fun outdoors. I don't know why.
Yeah, and unfortunately, or fortunately, whichever way you want to call it, it does look like the shipments for a lot of the stuff's going to be coming in August. So they're pretty optimistic that it'll be ready by opening day for Tropicana Field next year. So it looks like this will be just a 1-year deal. But again, the not that we're Yankees fans, but if anything else, they'll still have the Yankees for spring training. They'll still have the minor league Yankees. So the field will still be used, but they're never going to get anywhere near to 2,000 fans, let alone 10,000 fans every night for as they've been doing for Rays games. So I want to see something done where the team stays in Tampa, but it doesn't need to be St. Petersburg. It maybe can be in Tampa somewhere. They can figure something out, I'm hoping. So we'll see. All-Star break is just a week away. So Sunday evening, they've announced the National League and the American League starters. No Tampa Bay Rays on the starters for the All-Star game, but every team has to have at least one representative. I feel like the Rays will have a couple, but on Sunday night, on ESPN, they're going to announce the full rosters for the All-Star game. So we'll see there. They haven't announced the pitcher yet, so that could be. But I think we all know that the starting pitcher. So I know
that you think that it's going to be Caminero. What pitcher do you think?
Well, it doesn't have to be a pitcher. It can be anyone. So if you're asking me now, I think it'll be 2. I think we'll see Junior Caminero, and then I think we'll see Brandon Lau, and the outside person might be Jonathan Aranda, but I'll say Caminero and Brandon Lau make it. Shane Baz deserves it.
He'll need some more development before he can, before they put him in that league.
But Shane Baz deserves it. But Tariq Skubal for the Detroit Tigers, he'll be the starter for the All-Star game. He's head and shoulders above everybody else right now. But we'll see. It's always fun. And they went back to the original uniform, so they'll get to wear their Rays uniform during the All-Star game instead of just a shirt that says American or national.
Oh,
So
cool.
that's super cool. But thank you guys for joining us. We will be again live this Sunday night. And when we have conversations like this, we could probably do a daily Rays podcast, just of all the stuff that we've
Really
seen,
good.
but this Sunday, as you know, this channel is variety. We don't just talk wrestling here, or we don't just talk baseball or sports. We even talk a little bit of wrestling. So this Sunday night, we're going to have Jake DeMarco on with us from Countdown Ended Podcast. We'll be joining the show live Sunday, 8 o'clock evening on Sunday, and we're going to talk all things. They have 4 big shows coming up in the next week. AEW All In is coming. We have WWE Evolution 2 featuring all the women only. It's a women-only pay-per-view, or PLE. They have the Great American Bash for NXT coming out, and then the big Saturday night's main event taking place as well. So WWE is stacking the deck that weekend to try to compete with AEW, putting 3 shows that they physically could have put in any other day, any other weekend, but conveniently has to be the same weekend as the AEW show. So we'll see how that goes. But we'll have Jake on with us. He was on with us for the 3,000 podcast celebration. So this will be the first time he's on solo. So looking forward to that. And so until then, guys, thank you so much for joining us. And we see that you hit the like button on Facebook and X, which is super cool. But go ahead and make sure you hit that like button on YouTube. That helps the algorithm. That's the best way for this channel to be seen, to grow, and all that fun stuff. So until next time, guys, we will see you around the ballpark.